Good evening, Michigan fighting game community. This is a special public service announcement from your friend Kelsey Collins, aka Shadow Fate. Um, just kind of want to put it out there that I've kind of been a part of this community for a long time, and I've watched the ups and downs. I've seen people come and go. The weak of heart, the strong. Everyone kind of sees their time, and they do what they do and they leave. And I kind of just had to make a video to express disappointment, I guess, in this community. But just as much as that disappointment is that there is equal room for growth. And there are so many things we could be doing if we weren't making excuses for why we're not doing them. And, this is just kind of a moment to kind of call everybody out, you know what I'm saying? I could point a lot of individual fingers, and I'm not excluding anyone, like my sponsored players included, that we're just not doing what we're supposed to do at all. Kind of on the level of where I would say about 85% of the community is kind of absolute trash, and there's kind of no reason for it, really. We often compare ourselves to other scenes, and we're looking at oh, Cali has all these things, and the other coast got all these things. They got all these great players to look forward to. They can go and sit down and train with these players and get all the information they need. But in the end, it's really more of a matter of why are people waiting to be spoon-fed? Why do you need a Justin Wong or a Chris Gier or somebody to sit down with you and tell you how to play a game? In this generation and what we have now, there are all types of resources. There's YouTubes and there are streams and just a million outlets where information is being passed around that either people are ignoring or just are too incompetent to really, just soak in that information and learn how to use it. And it's crazy to me. I said, it's something I could have easily put down into words, but people see a string of text or blots, and assuming half of most of you people can read anyway, would either just bypass or just figure that you'll get into the comments and find the first opportunity you can to troll, and you'll completely miss the point, and things will go right back to where they are. Not to say that this video won't get the same response, but I kind of feel like it needs to get put out there. Michigan, we got to stop being ass. Truly, just I hate going out of town and having for one, I hate to be mocked by anyone or anything under any circumstance. And I think just as bad as that is being disappointed at going out and seeing our players just get thrashed around by nonsense, things that just shouldn't happen for any reason, by players that are clearly inferior in thought process, in composition, in strategy in general. And we're just not living up to our potentials. And so this is kind of a call out there that if you're going to do this thing, if you're going to consider yourself a gamer at any level, granted, there's plenty of room for casual players, and if you're a casual player, there is nothing wrong with that. But make that intent clear, because there's a lot of people who, even with jobs and things like that, don't want to be just a casual player. They want to get out here and make a mark, and and really just show off and be known for something. And that should be a problem. They shouldn't get held back by people who don't. If you want to get on something and press some buttons and laugh and joke, then that's cool. Do that. But for those of us who aren't like that, who are really passionate about the community, really passionate about what we do, this is just that wake up that we got to step up. We're about to come into a new year, 2014. Midwest has been making a little bit of noise, but we're still not respected. There's individuals, JDM, Seth, LOL, who went out there, did his thing, who really, Crone, who put themselves on the map and is really trying. There's smaller victories, Hallow and LPZ. Weapons Left gets his credit when he goes out and is doing his thing. Octopus on Fire, Twan naturally. But it's not enough. What I'm saying? Those names are said in passing, as people are like, oh yeah, isn't it that one guy? Or, didn't they do something once? And I can't be satisfied with that. Not as a sponsor, not as a player, not as a person, really, not as a man, and, having a man's pride. There's too much out here that we could be doing, and we're not. And it almost, to me, it seems like if you're not going to do these things, why travel? Why complain? Why come around? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is not really aimed at casual players because, you know, casual players can do what they do. But if you're going to call yourself serious and you're really trying to make things happen, then you got to do it. We have Street Fighter players who don't know footsies. Well, I guess I should just say Street Fighter. We have players who don't understand what footsies are, who don't understand spacing, who play games that are very reliant on, you know, incoming mix-ups and, you know, really locking down strategies, and they don't have one. They're just going in and whacking buttons until something happens or until they die, and then when they fail, it's just like, I'm a product of my scene. You know, I don't know any better. I can't get any better. It's not like I couldn't go on YouTube and, you know, and study all these things that people are doing, or, you know, for God's sake, use your fucking brain every once in a while and come up with something, you know, extraordinary or at least above the average par. Because some of these, I'm going to come in as, you know, I'm going to run under Doom as he's coming in and get foot dived as my incoming mix-up isn't really impressive to me. You know, it's like, so for all our players, you know, we got, you know, people who want to grow all these different scenes, but everyone's too busy, you know, dick riding or bandwagoning in order to, like, get their game on the map, and then when they're not relevant, as some will say, they just, you know, let it go and say, oh, well, you know, my game died, or, you know, my scene sucks for it, and nobody wants to play my game, so there's no point in me going out. And it's like, you could just as easily fix that situation by going out and getting people interested in your game. You know, you have to be responsible for your scene. You have to be responsible for your growth. If people aren't up to par, then make it happen. You know what I'm saying? There are people that are passionate about doing it, and there are like a growing number of individuals, even as the community is kind of entering this stagnant mode, where people that want to do more and they want to get involved, and, you know, you need those people to grow the scene, so you can't exclude them. And so, but at the same time, you don't want to spend all your time, you know, where you could be getting better catering to, you know, people. You have to find a balance. You can't completely drop them. But you can't bring yourself down to that level either, which I think is another problem, is that people aren't performing up to par because, I don't know, feel like being outcasted, like, you know, oh, I don't want to go train with JDM because I'll just get blown up by zeros, so I'm just avoid that, and I'd rather go play with Daniel and, you know, and feel like I'm doing something. And that's kind of a fucked up way to think about things. No disrespect to anybody's name, but, you know, that's just part of the examples. You know, I have talks with Kyle regularly, like, how are you a Street Fighter player and you refuse to learn footsies? You know, it's stupid to handicap yourself like that and then go to a tournament and get blown up and then be mad and disappointed at yourself that you didn't perform well. And it's just it. We got to tighten it up. Like I said, this is a new year. I mean, you've got, you know, the Corn Boys always opening up their crib and telling people to come out and train, and everyone's too worried about being butthurt, or, you know, they're going to yell at me, or, you know, they're going to talk about me, how bad I am. And it's like, yes, of course they're going to talk about how bad you are, because you're bad. When you're bad at stuff, people talk about you. Did you not go to high school? Did people not, like, grow up in the world and see that shit is fucked up and people won't cater to you? And, you know, no one is going to hold your hand and, oh, this is, you know, the secret special fucking angels and unicorns path to becoming a better fighting game player. Like, no, you have to get in there, you have to sweat and cry and, you know, get your ass beat until you start getting it right. And I think this year, that really needs to happen. You know, people need to get slaughtered and massacred and made fun of and belittled until something snaps, until, you know, somehow you wake up inside and your fucking matrix comes online and you start doing something. Or you'll sit at home and not do anything. But, you know, stay out of the way of the people that are trying to. And that's all I really got to say. So, like I said, 2014, let's make a change and, you know, bring this community up. You know, if we can't rely on all the Midwest, you know, that's just that. You know, we can start at home. We can strengthen Michigan. And then anyone else out there in other scenes who wants to come along for the movement, who really wants to make that revolution and, you know, and really become a threat, then, you know, they can come on board and, you know, we can start setting things up and we can create that alliance and make this big Midwest scene thing happen. But we can't go out there and expect anyone to follow, you know, no lead. You know what I'm saying? And considering, you know, Michigan is pretty much already considered the top of the Midwest, so why not be the ones that set the example? You know, we can start the stage here and let it spread out and make things happen. just something to think about. Good night, everybody, and Happy New Year's if I don't talk to you before then.